'75 World Series with Cincinnati's own home run hitter, Rich Franklin, against the Puerto Rican Red Sox ultra tough Jorge Rivera, who wins this hitting contest here tonight in Atlantic City. Jorge El Conquistador Rivera is a hard-nosed striker who likes to move forward and keep the pressure on his opponents. While striking is this Puerto Rican fighter's strong point, he feels he has all the tools to become a top contender in the middleweight division.
Being a UFC middleweight champion is the whole reason for me being here. You know, I didn't come in for any other reason. I came here to be champion.
Rich Ace Franklin was already considered to be one of the light heavyweight division's top prospects, and now with him dropping down to the middleweight division, there is no telling how far he might go. Franklin will be very strong for a middleweight, and he's known for his excellent striking and submission skills.
I think he's a solid puncher. He's consistent. I don't think he has as much power as I do. So I've said in interview after interview that I plan on keeping the fight on the feet as well. I think my stand-up is better than his. I think I'm faster. I think I'm stronger.
Coming up next, Rich Ace Franklin makes his middleweight debut against the very dangerous Jorge El Conquistador Rivera. And our tale of tape, brought to you by Science Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. 30-year-old Rich Franklin, 32-year-old Jorge Rivera. A battle here in Atlantic City, New Jersey to try to move up the middleweight ladder. Our referee is Mario Yamasaki.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
All right, Rich Franklin in the camouflage shorts. Jorge Rivera in the red, white, and blue.
Rich Franklin very,
Wow, they clinch early. Franklin trying to throw some knees to the midsection.
There's a good example of boxing versus grappling. Again, Jorge came in with a strong shot. All Rich Franklin did was change levels a little bit. Boom, they're in a clinch.
Yeah.
Boxers typically aren't going to defend a takedown.
Now, we talked about it a moment ago, an errant knee to the very vulnerable area of Rich Franklin. And Rich will try to work it out. And he'll get a moment to regather himself. Unintentional, to say the least. Huh?
You guys see the clinch? Accidentally. It was meant to go up into the belly.
Just stop for 5 minutes if you want.
Mario Yamasaki telling Rich Franklin, as we look at this replay, you can stop for as long as 5 minutes to regather yourself if you want. So Franklin will take his time. While he does, we'd like to remind you, as everyone continues to be amazed that Randy Couture, the light heavyweight champion, 41 years of age, keeps getting better in the octagon. Are you ready to learn how he does it? Check out the January 2005 issue of American Health and Fitness. It takes you through Randy's own personal training program so you can train like a champ. Check it out on the newsstands January 4th, 2005, or at ahf.com. Order your advance.
Again, Jorge came forward. Rich Franklin changes levels slightly, ducks his head 6 inches. Is all it took to avoid the punch. And now he took Jorge down, and he has a very good side control position right now.
Trying to pass the guard full mount.
Not quite yet. It seemed that Jorge went for a sweep, and Rich Franklin defended it well by stepping over the top. Now he has cross-eyed on the other end. Looking maybe to establish a guillotine choke. Not the easiest thing to go there. He does have control of the chin, though, which is totally legal. Again, Jorge's going to go for the same sweep. This is a very dangerous jiu-jitsu sweep. You can go between the legs, but if you fail, you're stuck on the ground, back down, with your arm between your opponent's leg, and he has both hands free.
You know, interestingly, as we begin this fight, 90 seconds in, neither fighter, I don't think, was really in a hurry to have this battle take place on the ground. And, you know, there's the justification there. Both they're happy to get back up and go toe-to-toe.
Yeah, they both look like both look like they're looking for the stand-up. Again, like I was saying, both look seasoned as far as the stand-up game.
Rivera comes in strong.
Rich Franklin keeps circling to the right, which is the correct thing to do as a southpaw versus an orthodox striker.
And remember when Franklin debuted at 205 and he beat Evan Tanner with strikes in Miami back in April of 2003. He opened up a lot of eyes. He, a little bit unknown, the former teacher from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Uppercut.
Opened up a lot of eyes and then followed that up, winning by strikes over Edwin DeWeese at UFC 44.
This is a very nice technical battle inside. Rich Franklin has a collar tie, going for elbows and knees, and you're seeing body punches. Nice knee to the head.
Try to use the flying knee and go up high.
We're seeing Franklin's using very effective shots to go to the ribs and then sink one right up the middle into the chin.
Looked for the uppercut, and Rivera able to block.
Rich Franklin definitely seems like he's more comfortable in this dirty, clinching, boxing style of fight right now than Jorge does.
Franklin establishing control, pushing his opponent against the fence.
Franklin's doing something very interesting. He is totally risk controlling Jorge right now. If you notice, Rich Franklin's left hand is in total control of Jorge's right hand, enabling him to go ahead and throw those uppercuts. But then you would think that if Jorge just let go of his head, he has the same thing.
Dirty boxing in the clinch between Franklin and Jorge Rivera.
Neither guy looking for takedowns. Again, looks like both feel more comfortable throwing some devastating strikes, looking for the knockout.
Hey, let's throw a special heartfelt thank you out to our host, Donald Trump, and Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. President and CEO Mark Brown in attendance tonight. Thanks to the Donald for hosting another great Ultimate Fighting Championship and believing in this great sport. Rivera trying to stun Franklin.
Oh,
Down
nice.
goes Rivera.
Nice.
Franklin
Jorge
trying to
had
finish.
Franklin on the run. Franklin just stood his ground, swung back. Again, a fighter's most dangerous when he's hurt. Jorge learned that. Franklin came back. Jorge looks, I don't think he's going to recover.
Jorge steps away. High kick.
Nice.
Franklin continues to throw with a vengeance. 1 minute remains here in round one.
Jorge's a tough guy. He withstood, I don't know many fighters who would just took that. They're back against the cage. Look like he's going to weather the storm. He's going to hold on, try to get a second win. Both fighters were hurt. Both fighters coming back swinging. Very impressive.
Best athletes in the world, the mixed martial artist. Oh, big uppercut there. Left uppercut caught the chin of Jorge Rivera. Close in, they call it dirty boxing. In the clinch, Greco-Roman style. Perfected by light heavyweight champion Randy Couture. Former light heavyweight champion Tito Ortiz still ahead in our main event of the evening against Canadian fighter Patrick Cote. Let us not forget, in this action-packed night, we still have our main event. Tried the flying knee again, did Rich Franklin.
Rich Franklin is working the clinch a lot better. He's not using his hands to secure Jorge against the fence. He's leading his body in, throwing a lot of strikes to Jorge's ribs. He's throwing combos to the head. Great first round, back and forth.
Both were stunned, both survived. Jorge Rivera and his opponent here tonight, Rich Franklin. And still ahead, our main event of the evening. He was supposed to be in a preliminary fight earlier, now a Rocky Balboa story for young Patrick Cote, the French-Canadian, who believes he can knock out the former 5-time defending light heavyweight champion of the world, Tito Ortiz, the Huntington Beach Bad Boy. Our main event is coming up next.
Rich, pick your shots like you did, man. Don't let him hit you.
The corner of Rich Franklin, very impressed in the fashion in which he picked his shots.
You can beat this kid, man. Let's go. Okay, let's go out, out.
Very sharp shots, very impressive there. I think a lot of guys can look in our sport to
You
Rich
ready?
Franklin on how he's doing
Ready?
the clinch and strike.
Let's
A lot of
go!
things that he's doing here that a lot of fighters haven't incorporated yet. Catching Jorge by surprise. Jorge seems to have the tradition of Muay Thai. I'm just going to clinch and hold down the head. The only thing is he's not getting the knees off that he would need. He needs to get his hips out, so that way he can be a threat.
Got the construction worker against the school teacher. You know, I guess most times you'd figure the construction worker kicked the crap out of the school teacher, right, Frank? I mean, you would think that.
This is fighting.
Yes, it's true. Pretty tough school teacher. I would have shut
You just
up.
hope you get sent to the principal, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to be asked if you stepped outside.
That's right. I would have shut up if he would have asked me to. Don't forget Ultimate KOs 1 and 2, the combo Ultimate Knockouts, UFC 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48 in stores now, distributed by Studio Works Entertainment. The best of the UFC. Start your collection. It's a great Christmas
Nice
gift.
brawling in the clinch.
This fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We have not seen a single fight go the distance yet here this evening.
If I was Jorge's corner, I would tell him to let go of the neck of Rich Franklin. His hand is not doing anything to defend himself, and his left hand is just being tied up. Rich Franklin's now basically in a battle of 2 hands versus 1.
And he is in front of his corner, Frank, so if that advice is to be given to him, it can be given to him quite clearly. Franklin with good octagon control, great aggression shown so far, which will get great points on the judges' scorecard.
Rich Franklin seems to have developed a little bit of a mouse underneath of his left eye. One of the strikes that they've been throwing inside there, even maybe just the rubbing. Who knows? He took a good shot. He has a pretty good swelling underneath the left eye. I'm sure there's a few headbutts being exchanged in here. Unintentionally.
Absolutely. Headbutt's illegal here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. When you have two forces colliding, often, as you said, the unintentional matching of the melons occurs on frequent occasion. Are one of these two men a future champion in the middleweight division? Terrell, Lindland, Tanner comes down. Very impressive in victory over Robbie Lawler. Still have Baroni out there. Salivary looks great. And all of a sudden, our matchmaker Joe Silva has put 185 and brought it to Hall of Fame status.
I think Jorge got a few effective punches off on the midsection there.
And he got a good knee in too.
Watch the knee to the head.
Franklin ducks under.
Head low.
He winced in pain after that knee to the midsection, did Rich Franklin. So Jorge Rivera scores a point.
Nice inside leg kick. Should have followed it up. He had Jorge off balance.
Jorge looks no worse for the wear.
Tough
what
guy.
would seem a dominant performance so far by Franklin. And Franklin is all lit up under that left eye. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remains in round 2.
Nice leg kick. Hurt the knee.
Rivera tries to answer. Faked with the hands and came with the legs.
That was a good kickboxing technique. You throw a left hook to get your opponent's weight over on the leg that you want to attack, and you throw a chopping leg kick down there.
Something you won't see with boxing gloves on.
No.
And the knee again.
I think that knee definitely changed the tide of this fight a little bit.
No question, and the pace of Franklin has almost come to a screeching halt.
That's the thing a lot of fighters don't realize, or not a lot of people watching fighting don't realize. You get hit in the head, you can shake it off. 15 seconds later, 10 seconds later, you're back to reality. You take a bad body shot, you're not recovering. You're hurt, you're just going to breathe it out, and just whatever it takes out of you, you're just not going to get back.
Now let's see if he can then survive here for the next 75 seconds of round number 2. Franklin in the camouflage trunks, Rivera establishing his will in the red, white, and blue here in round number 2.
One thing I don't like that Franklin's doing that Jorge has yet to take advantage of is he's ducking at the waist to go ahead and avoid Jorge's onslaught. He keeps slipping his head down, not ducking as far as keeping his chin in front of his knee, but he's bending at the waist. If Jorge were to throw one fake punch and follow up with a knee, it'd be a very early night for both these fighters. Jorge would go down with an easy victory.
Jorge Rivera beat Mark Weir a couple of months back in July, working himself back into the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Jorge in a little bit of trouble here.
Jorge at times has been a slow starter, and now we see him really start to push the pace.
Watch a triangle coming from the mouth.
Be in trouble here.
If Jorge doesn't get his elbow, switched it off. He was able to escape his elbow. That's why the triangle didn't happen.
20 seconds left here, Frank, in round 2. And now some blood coming out of the facial region of Rich Franklin.
That's one thing it's hard to tell amongst fighters. Some guys cut easy, some guys don't. It's one thing you just really can't work on.
Could make the argument we're tied at 1 round apiece, couldn't you?
Very much so. I mean, this round here could almost go either way just because the knee definitely made a decisive turnabout in energy. But both fighters will have the same amount of time, in my opinion, in charge of the round. So I don't know. This is a hard round to judge at the moment.
All right, Rich Franklin, Jorge Rivera will go to the 3rd round here tonight in Atlantic City. Don't forget, still ahead, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, re-enters the octagon, looking to work his way back up the light heavyweight ladder. And his opponent, the hard-hitting Canadian, Patrick Cote, very confident, had lots to say about if he thought, meaning Tito, if he thought that Chuck Liddell hit him hard. Wait till you see what I bring, my brother. Patrick Cote against Tito Ortiz, our main event of the evening.
Do what I say.
Maybe a bit of indecision in the approach that should be taken to round 3 with Rich Franklin and Jorge Rivera.
Roger, are you ready?
Mario
Are you ready?
Yamasaki
Let's go!
searching for the third. It has been entertaining to say the least. 10 minutes of a battle, 10 minutes of a war. Franklin wants to push the pace here early. Which one of these men could be a future champion in the UFC?
I think Jorge got caught in the eye a little bit on the right. He's winking.
Maybe by the shoulder.
Both ducking their heads in. Who knows what it could have been? I don't know. I couldn't quite see if it was the left hand.
That's amazing. You get hit like that. You're clinched up with an opponent who wants to throw you down, smash your face in, but you gather yourself. I mean, it's not like you stop and you go, oh man, I got poked in the eye.
Well, there is one way to stop, but
Yeah,
then the
I
night,
guess
so
that's
you can
true.
tap and leave the ring, but
Yeah.
you're never coming back.
That's very, very true.
None of these guys are going to tap.
Not from that.
No, not from that.
And the one thing that should be mentioned, though, Frank, when you say that, there's no shame in tapping. If an opponent has gotten the better of you at a certain moment, a la the armbar we saw from Matt Hughes to George St. Pierre, you tap with class, you reward your opponent, you come back and fight another day.
At this point in everybody's career, you realize, look, if I got caught in the armbar, there's nothing to prove by you breaking my arm. I got caught, and you tap, you save yourself from bodily injury, and you continue on to go fighting.
Don't forget, website of choice is UFC.tv if you're interested in the re-aired programs of our new relationship at FSN, Fox Sports Net. Check out UFC.tv. We'll tell you when to watch the shows on Fox Sports Net. We'll tell you when to watch the new up-and-coming series on Spike TV. We'll tell you if indeed we are headed to Japan in June. Good timing.
Looks like Rich is going to go ahead and opt for the outside fighting right now. He had the clinch, pulled away. Shows me he's looking for some way to force a victory. I like that. It looks, he's not just going to go and sit there and maybe try to get a takedown and go for the easy point win. He's opening up and he's looking for something to go ahead and score a victory. Nice.
Down to the ground they go, ducking under.
Boxing versus wrestling. Came forward, throwing hands, changed levels. That's one thing you have to be worried about in the sport of the UFC and it's mixed martial arts. When you come forward, you have to be ready to sprawl at the same time. You can't commit 100% forward. You end up on your butt.
Franklin started martial arts out of high school. Was a high school football player. Would have loved to have gone and played collegiate football, but he was 6'1", 155 as a high school senior. Not a lot of D1 scholarships going to them boys.
A lot of blood coming from Rich's face, draining. I wonder how much fights like that always make me nervous. A fight that bleeds the wrong way, and you see an exciting fight like this end,
Blood is coming out of the facial area of Rich Franklin. Never been defeated here in the octagon. 2 victories over Tanner and DeWeese.
Now, this is one thing about the UFC, the ground fights. If both fighters are not trying to push and develop, if one fighter is stalling and they're not trying to get a better position, move forward, to go ahead and go for a position to end this fight, look for submissions, look for improved position, they will restart this fight on its feet. Rich Franklin's doing the correct thing. He's in the half guard. He's prying apart the far leg. If he pushes on the knee, he can almost go for the mount, or he's going to get his leg passed to the cross side.
He's definitely disturbing, or was a moment ago, pardon me, Frank, the breathing pattern of his opponent, Jorge Rivera, as well.
Being on top and being heavy and doing good jiu-jitsu can go ahead and do that to your opponent. You're trying to suck a little bit of life out of him. You're going to make him despair, feel like he's stuck underwater, and you're holding him by his ankles.
Who will win on the judges' scorecard if this continues for another 90 seconds?
Elbows.
Rich Franklin, Jorge Rivera, middleweight matchup.
He actually has an armbar just like, if he wants to go for it, he actually had the same setup. Now he's going for an American wrist lock. Opted not to go for it. Knee on belly. I think he's going to sit up and go for strikes. He's going to end up mounting.
May try to go with the knee to the solar plex area if he can get the leverage. Rivera has that arm
He's
tucked.
going for an armbar.
Yeah, is he trying to get the submission? As the fight goes on, Frank.
Nice, he has the mount.
There he goes,
He's
full mount.
Bad choice, you don't give up your back.
Rivera in a full defensive mode here. 47 seconds remaining. Rivera very slippery, trying to spin around. Back to half guard. Now he's got side control. Leg came right back out.
Armbar.
Armbar.
Nice.
Looking to finish, and it's all over. It is all over. Submission victory by Rich Franklin. The armbar leads to the win.
And again, under fatigue, under distress. That was the third round of a hard fight and still pulled off a technical submission.
So still we have not had a fight go to the judges' scorecard tonight.
I think we're going to send the judges home. I don't think we need them anymore. These fighters are deciding to fight for themselves.
You saw and talked about it, Frank. He was setting it up. How was he setting it up, and why was it effective?
Well, you can see that when he's going there, he's starting to position he was pushing down on the elbow to make sure that Jorge couldn't pull it back across. He started pushing down on the head. All the telltale signs are showing that he's setting up. He telegraphed. I mean, everybody telegraphs that a little bit. You're setting up. You're getting in the right position to go for the armbar. Then he put the leg over the head. You can see here, scoops under. He's controlling the arm. Now he pivots his hips over to get the foot over the head. Keeping Jorge's back on the ground, he extends his hips up. The elbow has nowhere to go but to go ahead and snap if Jorge were not to go ahead and choose to tap out.
The suddenness that we saw Matt Hughes throw the armbar on, the suddenness that we saw Rich Franklin throw the armbar on with, that is what I think is amazing to the mixed martial arts fan who is just still learning the submission game.
No, submissions are not a slow, well-developed thing. When you hit a submission, they can be lightning fast. Devastating.
And you've talked to us before, Frank, that the submission is like a knockout because it happens, bam, lightning quick.
One thing, accidents can happen from that. You're exploding so hard from a submission, a guy thinks he might be able to get out of it, and that's the only time an injury could occur. And that's why the referees are so honest. They're watching for that. If they see something happening, you're not reacting fast enough, they're going to save your limb.
Tim Sylvia, Frank Mir, I think, is a perfect example of that. Let's go into the octagon, get the official word, and congratulations to Rich Franklin. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big hand for these two UFC middleweight warriors. Referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 28 seconds of the third round. For the winner by tap out due to an armbar, Rich Franklin!
So another submission victory and another impressive armbar here tonight at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic.